Humans have always looked at the decay of physical matter and asked a very specific question. When the physical shell breaks down, does anything remain? Early Vedic society attempted to answer this by looking outward. They managed the terror of mortality through elaborate physical sacrifices, ceremonies designed to secure cosmic results and negotiate a safe passage after death. Around 700 BCE, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad internalized the stone altar, identifying the sacred ritual fire with the heat of human digestion and the spark of the intellect. This inward turn defines the ancient concept of reincarnation. These texts describe a process distinct from modern popular interpretations. Your current personality does not simply wake up in a new body, and karma does not function as a judge handing out rewards. To find the indestructible core, the Katha Upanishad strips away all symbols and starts from first principles. It records a dialogue between a young boy named Nachiketas and death itself, seeking the truth of what survives the grave. By removing the comfort of mythological heavens, the Upanishads place the responsibility for the afterlife entirely on the individual's inner psychological state. Dissecting human identity requires a specific framework. Swami Krishnananda identifies 3 layers of the self, beginning with the layer that is most obvious. The mithya Ātman, or false self, comprises the physical body, the sensory organs, and the localized ego. At death, every component of this layer dissolves completely. Beneath that perishable shell lies the irreducible core, the mukhya Ātman, the primary or true self. The Katha Upanishad defines this primary self as a silent, unmoving observer. It is finer than the finest, larger than the largest, a core that is neither born nor subject to death. If the physical body is destroyed, and the true self is purely static and incapable of movement, an obvious question arises. What specifically is traveling between lives? Survival depends on a hidden, microscopic mechanism that bridges the gap between the perishable body and the immovable soul. That bridge is the linga sharira, the subtle body. Think of it as an invisible seed-like vessel holding the intellect, the mind, and the raw life force known as prana. During life, this subtle body is fused with every cell. Krishnananda notes that at death it is wrenched away, not by natural exhaustion, but by the gravitational pull of unfulfilled desires that have no further use for the current physical shell. This pull is the engine of karma. Scholarly analysis shows how the term karman transformed from a word for ritual action into an autonomous mathematical law of moral cause and effect. The Brihadaranyaka maps this psychological formula. Ignorance creates desire, desire fuels action, and action yields a physical result. The subtle body carries this accumulated karma, like a leech, gravitating toward the specific physical environment required to satisfy those private cravings. Rebirth is not an external judgment. It is an architectural project where the most private desires literally construct the next physical reality. This mapping of the soul shifts the burden of identity. A person is a continuous stream of action and awareness, carrying the responsibility for their own future trajectory. The Upanishads identify one exception to this cycle, moksha, or liberation, which occurs only when personal desire is completely exhausted. When desires cease, the engine of karma loses power. The subtle body dissolves, and the Ātman merges into the universal whole without returning. For most, however, the process is different. The subtle body, heavily burdened with its accumulated karma, fully departs the physical shell. It stands at a precipice outside of the physical universe, facing an immediate sorting process determined by the exact weight of its previous actions. The departed soul does not enter a generic void. It must immediately navigate 2 distinct, ancient routes to the afterlife.